Ready, big boy? Another edition of Dan and the Doctor.
Another edition of Dan and the Doctor.
It is good to be back, Gordon. Very good to be back.
It is amazing to be back, and today we have a very special guest, don't we, Dan?
We certainly do. Would you like to introduce her, Gordon? Because I think the introduction here is going to be the best part of this.
And is that because you can't remember her full ministry title?
No, I do know what she's Minister for. Minister for Local Government. Rural and regional.
Very good. And today, everybody, we have Minister Kristy McBain, the member for Eden-Monaro. Welcome to Dan and the Doctor. Probably the best show out there at the moment, I reckon. A source of true investigative journalism. What do you reckon, Dan?
Yeah, I would say that is definitely true, especially from the new backbenchers that are in this term of government, because I don't really think there's anyone that's hitting as hard as we are in this investigations that we do.
That's exactly right. I mean, you're probably the most important person we've had on the show. We had a bloke that liked to eat fish, and then also
boring, wasn't he?
A few others. But Kristy, I'll stop talking, and so will Dan. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited. I did another Labor podcast, just so you know. Oh. 5 and 5.
Oh, 5 and 5.
Tony Burke.
Tony Burke, yeah. Right. So
he did ask me, some key musical questions. I don't think I overly impressed him when I said that the Left Right Out band wasn't my favourite, but
I like it when
we all make mistakes.
Have you seen Luke Gosling sing?
I have seen Luke Gosling sing. Yes,
I like it when he does K-San. That's I like it.
I also like not hearing the band so much too, Kristy. So I think you're onto something there. But anyway, that's okay.
He asked me if I was impressed with his riff. And I said no, and he went, that's
we'll unpack
awkward.
that later. We'll unpack that later in the show. So, look,
it's a musical term.
Look, Kristy, we like to start off by sort of finding out why people got into Parliament. We have an incredibly privileged position, but what made you get in here?
So I never anticipated getting into Parliament, probably much like Dan.
Why am I not included?
Because you were born for this.
I was going to say, you're probably
Gordon.
the smart one out of the three of us. So, I mean, also high five you.
And he's a doctor.
Yeah,
that's it. And
come
still,
on, that's
and
pretty
still
amazing.
doing it.
All right. Keep going. This is not my interview.
I got interested in politics when there'd been a local decision made about a playground in my area. And, as all, slightly hormonal women on maternity leave do, and I can say that, I'm a woman, don't comment. I had a 2-year-old and a 3-month-old, and this decision had really set me off. And so I had a look and I thought, you know what, there's a council election coming up, I'm going to have a crack at this. And my husband and I had just started a plumbing business.
Right.
Lots of time on our hand, clearly, with new business, 2 kids. And so I thought I'd put my hand up for election.
So you decided to run for council when in your life? What was the exact moment? I want to know.
That was it. I was reading the local paper.
Were you?
And I was like, these 9 people have made this decision and none of them are under 55.
Right, so...
I'm not ageist, just saying it wasn't overly representative.
So...
and I went, that's it, I'm going to have a crack at this.
So not in the maternity ward of a local hospital?
No, not quite in the maternity ward, but not far after it. Maxie was 3 months old.
3 months old?
So I got elected and he was 3 months old.
Someone's got a different recollection of this here. Someone thinks it differently.
Yeah, well,
But we'll
I think
work
seconds
on
or
this.
minutes?
Yeah.
Is this my husband?
Within 3 minutes after giving birth, pretty much in the maternity ward is what we heard.
We don't name our sources, I just want to say.
Look, B-Rad.
But he might have been there, I don't know.
Yes. B-Rad is amazing. It does such a great job looking after our kids, but not great on the memory. I think that's an inherent male thing, maybe. I don't know.
Gee, she went straight there, didn't she?
Straight there.
Not only, this is probably the first time we've copped it this early on.
We are.
Did you expect anything else?
No, well, we didn't expect anything else, but it's taken a different turn straight up. So whilst we're on the copping it area, I have a little question for you around, did you have a picture of the electorate that you look after, Eden-Monaro, in your bedroom? Did you and your lovely husband used to look at that picture every night when you go to sleep?
Correct.
That's correct?
Yeah.
And so I've heard it's just came down, right? Has it only came down because you've got new boundaries, or?
Double meaning implied. Double meaning implied.
Wow. No, I'm red. No, so the PM asked me to run in the Eden-Monaro by-election,
Right.
and that was on the back of the Black Summer bushfires, and I had sort of thought, no, I'm not going to do it. And then once I made my decision that, yes, I'm going to have a crack at this, that map went up on my bedroom wall, and I walked past it every day, and I went, this is it. This is what I'm doing.
You got the Hunter in your bedroom?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Sure, the
Yes,
wife would love
no,
that.
she would be thrilled with that. And Brad, you're a good man, Brad. You
Oh,
really
he's
are. I
a
haven't
great
met you
man.
yet, but I'm looking forward to meeting you because
You're a
you're a
goddamn
plumber,
hero.
you're a tradie, so I reckon you'd be an entertaining person to hang out with.
But also, can I just say, Eden-Monaro is amazing in terms of its fishing spots.
Oh, yeah.
Ton of saltwater estuaries, obviously the coastline, and then we've got a bunch of freshwater estuaries in the mountains, freshwater lakes and rivers in the mountains. Part of the reason that map was up there was so that Brad could also plot his fishing trips as I was doing electorate visits. So there was a
This sounds
there was a
Nah.
dual.
So while you're
purpose.
studying the electorate, he's just studying fishing spots.
Absolutely,
Yeah, and camping spots to take the kids.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're good, as I said, you're a good man, Brad. You're a good man.
Moving swiftly along. So on the topic of where you live, so tell us a bit about where you grew up and where you went to school and uni and that sort of thing.
Yes, I was born in Traralgon in Victoria, in the Latrobe Valley, so the heart of coal mining country.
Certainly is coal mining.
Yeah, and my dad was a coal miner. Neither of my parents finished high school. So my mum worked in retail for most of my, when I was in school. Dad was a qualified plumber and gas fitter and worked for the SEC, and when it was privatised in Victoria, our community sort of spiralled a little bit. It's quite an interesting story. So we were, most of my extended family still in Victoria. My dad, after he took a redundancy package, was working a casual job at a service station, and a mate rang up and swapped shifts with him. And that night the service station got robbed, and unfortunately that fella had his throat slit. He survived, but that was the catalyst for my parents deciding that they were going to move. So we ended up in Merimbula on the New South Wales South Coast. They bought a business, which had been my mum's dream, to run her own business. So they did that for 11 years, basically during high school. So I went to Kosciuszko Street Primary School in Traralgon, great spot, Kosci kids. I went back and visited in my ministerial role, and it was amazing, loved it. Then I went to Eden Marine Technology High down on the coast. Great spot, literally 500 metres from the beach, and we spent a lot of time there. And then went to the University of Canberra and studied journalism and law.
Yeah, right. And were you quite an accomplished student?
I think I was a lazy student.
Yeah? You weren't like that. What do you call it? Well, not the Ducks. The University medal, that's right.
No, I
When they're
definitely
getting
was
awards
not
and
the
that sort of thing.
Ducks. I really decided that I had to knuckle down in Year 12 to
right.
get a good score to get into university. I had my last afternoon school detention in Year 11.
And so where you were living in Canberra,
Yeah.
what's the commute time?
3 hours.
3 hours. So you would have had to live on campus, right?
Yeah, I lived on campus.
Yeah. And I believe that's where some of the accolades might have entered the trophy cabinet. Is that right?
You still have one of them.
told you
still have one of them.
that?
2004, I think it was, an award from.
04.
If we, yeah, 04. So it was a little while ago.
in year six.
It was
In year six,
definitely
yeah.
03.
Yeah.
I
03.
reckon. 03.
Once again, maybe a little bit out on detail, but we were
Yeah.
close.
And maybe just the name of that award or accolade, a Resi,
remember.
Resi something or other. You want to help me out here, Minister?
I do remember it was a homemade trophy, and perhaps there might have been some electoral tampering in the voting
right,
process. Yes.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
movie, babe.
Okay, good. I got the word out. There we go. It had to happen. It had to happen. It was killing me inside. It's killing me
What's
inside.
even more embarrassing is then I got a taxi ride home after it, and I'm fairly positive that my trophy fell apart in the taxi ride.
Oh,
And
no.
the
So it's not with us anymore.
it's not with us anymore. The taxi man said, "What's that for?" And I was like, "Well, this is a fake trophy of some description."
Well,
New birthday present idea, very good.
very good.
And so through your schooling, did you ask any odd questions around
Oh, my
some
God.
native animals that we have in this country?
I absolutely did.
Yeah, and what was that?
Look, just so everyone knows, kangaroos have ears.
And
She bet
were you
you did.
unaware of this, or were you unaware of this at the time?
Look, I was sitting in a class with one of my best
uni?
mates.
At
No,
uni?
I was at high school.
Okay.
Got the award.
At high school. I was sitting in a class with my best mates, whose name is also Kristy. And on the front of her book was a picture of a kangaroo, and it didn't have ears. And I looked at her and I went, do kangaroos have ears? And then someone else heard, then it exploded.
I went from there. Yeah, fair enough. That's the way.
Like literally, I'm pretty sure I gave my first speech here in Parliament, and afterwards we went out to dinner, and my brother, who calls me Nuffy, obviously.
Hold on to that information.
Yeah, it's
We'll come back to
very important.
Yep.
There's only a year and 10 days between my brother and I, so we're pretty close. We were having dinner after the first speech, and he said, who would have thought that a girl who asked if kangaroos had ears ends up in Parliament House? I was
There
like,
you go.
okay, that's enough from
Can we
me.
just swiftly return to Nuffy?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that. Tell me more about that.
I actually don't know how that started, but basically, I'm a nuffy, a nuff bagger, was what he says.
Brothers are great. Character building
Yeah,
is paramount.
character
exactly-
I love you,
building.
Grace. And that's what we do. It's what brothers
Yeah,
do.
that's right.
And so you came in a different way. Albo asked you to run. You were the local mayor at the time, and had been mayor for how long?
Nearly 4 years.
Nearly 4 years. And Albo asked you to run in a by-election. You said no the first time, is that right? First one or two times?
Yeah.
And you
Yep.
finally gave in to him asking.
Yep.
What was it like coming in a by-election? Because that happened in 2021, was it?
2020.
2020 was,
Yeah.
yeah. How was that? Because
So-
that would have been a different time
Yeah,
coming in.
super different. So, like, you guys have got a really great cohort that have come in, and you're all experiencing things together for the first time, which is really cool. In 2020, obviously the bushfires had just been through, and in my part of the world, we'd lost 465 homes
Yep.
and 4 members of our community. So, it was kind of on the back of that they knew that the current member, Mike Kelly, was going to resign. By the time they actually said that the election's going to be on the 4th of July, we'd moved into full COVID stage.
Yep.
So there was no door knocking, there was no town hall meetings. None of those things happened like they would normally happen in an election, because we were all required to, social distance and,
Yep.
no public events. And Victoria had just gone into their first lockdown. So it was kind of at a time where governments around the country were riding quite high, because everyone was waiting for messaging from the government, basically. And so it was very different. So, I got elected, not a great time to have an election in Eden-Monaro. We literally had people at Perisher and Thredbo. It was snowing as they were handing out.
Yep.
But FYI, 13% swing to us in Thredbo, because we were the
yeah.
only ones that handed out. Note for the other side.
Ooh, burn.
So it was really different. And then when I got here, the building was locked down. So no visitors. You had to sit 2 seats apart from each other. I didn't have, a cohort to go through with. My first speech, we had to get the speaker to agree for my family to even be in here. So there was only 8 members of my family in here. No one else. It was just a super weird time. My first experiences in Parliament, events weren't a thing. Hanging out with mates wasn't a thing. Like, you weren't allowed to do anything, basically. So, it was very different.
We would have
Very
been up the
different to
river.
us, yeah.
We would have
that's
been up the
exactly
river.
right.
Yeah, you
Without
guys.
method
So
of
good
propulsion.
for us, yes. We would have been in that boat with no oar or motor. Would have been a tough time for
Yeah.
us. Yeah, but look
great.
at you now. You've got through that. Minister now and smashing it in what you're doing. You do a great job, and you get around to all of
thanks,
our
buddy.
LGAs and talk to everyone involved in the LGAs. And honestly, you're probably, out of all the ministers that we have come to the area, you're the one that's probably most talked about through our local government areas. That's for sure. So, because they know
We haven't had a
they're gonna talk to
council,
you to
sorry,
get
Chris. Maybe soon. Maybe soon.
I'll come see them soon, just for you.
I appreciate that.
Thanks.
Thank you, Minister.
And so before you came into Parliament to become a federal member, had you came to Question Time a little bit before that?
Yeah.
when you're in uni and things like that?
I was a nerd.
Yeah, okay.
Is that what you're getting at?
No, I wasn't getting at that you're a nerd. Because you have brought it up and you are a self-proclaimed nerd is what we've just heard there, so which is good. And that saved me doing that, so it's great. But that isn't where I was going with this one, because that was going to come later. So, but thank you for preempting that.
That's right.
I also heard along the way that you used to organise a hangout with your friends at uni and then ditch them for question time. Is that correct?
Did you do the dog act?
I've never ditched a mate for question time, but
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. I would take advantage of coming to random events in Parliament House because I was like, Parliament House is here, guys. Like, who wants to go and see what they're doing in there? And everyone else would be like, no way, not my thing. So I'd been to a couple of budget in reply nights when I was at uni, obviously during the end of the Howard years.
Yep.
Done some work on one of the federal campaigns.
So you've been to your fair share of like election parties and that sort of thing and that sort of gear?
I actually haven't been to an election party until I had my own.
Yeah, right,
Really?
right.
Good stuff. And how did your election party go? Was it a good evening?
Well, the first time around it was super weird because you know how they say to you, don't go too early.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we don't want you to talk to the media.
Yep.
I was like, are you kidding me? I want to go and hang out with my mates. So I had to hang out for a long period of time. But because it was a by-election, like there were people from everywhere. So I had the PM and we had Senator Tim Ayres.
Yep.
We had nearly every shadow minister on a booth across Eden-Monaro because it was a by-election. The funniest one, and you guys at some point will have Chris Bowen on here, I'm sure. You have to ask him who he got mistaken for in Braidwood.
All right. Can you just give us a little bit of insider gossip?
Precursor. So he was walking up the street in Braidwood with Ed Husick and Jason Clare, and this lady said, "Oh my God, it's you!" And he's like, "Yeah, it's me." And she's like, "I love you. I'm from your electorate." And he's like, "Oh, great. Do you want a picture?" So they got a picture, and then as she walked away, she said, "Go Rabbitohs!"
Hey!
She thought he was Elbow. And so Jason and Ed never
just
let
give
him
it to
forget
Kristy.
it.
Yeah, good stuff. And I'm glad you've let us know that
And we'll
because
never
we
let
should
him
bring
forget
this up
either.
with
Yeah,
him.
absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Never let him
Next,
forget that.
next dinner we do, where he's at, we'll have to be part of that
Yeah.
and bring that up.
Who have you been mistaken for in Braidwood?
Yes. Who have you been mistaken for, Gordon?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm not even going to. No.
No.
No. Probably
Fair enough.
a wild animal.
Who have you been mistaken for?
Not
No
many
one.
people.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Tree.
Yeah.
Tree with a beard, okay.
Groot.
Slight height differences.
Oh, dear. So, look, sounds like an amazing post-election sort of
Yeah.
vibe that you had.
Soiree.
Soiree, that's right. You know, Dan and I, we get amongst a beer every now and then, don't we?
We don't mind a.
Are you a beer
or two.
drinker?
Yeah. Do you like beer?
I am a beer drinker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a beer on you, Dan?
Yeah, we do. We've got some in the thing there, but there's one
what's
here. There's one
happening
here.
here?
That's a Whinger. That's a Whinger ginger beer. That's a lovely one from the Hunter Electorate.
Ironbark Hill Brewing Company.
It's not even from my electorate.
No, because we got good breweries in the Hunter.
You could have chosen Tumut River Brewing Co.'s Ginger Ninja.
The Ginger Ninja.
Yeah, or you
Yeah.
could have gone for, I've got one in Pambula. And I'm
Oh, dear.
lost
Well,
the
that's
name of it, but
unfortunate.
their ginger beer down there is amazing.
I reckon we've got the best named beer in the whole of Australia, which is trademarked by Ironbark Hill
Yep.
Brewing, which is Farkenal Lager.
Can you spell that?
Yeah, Farkenal Lager.
Well, that sounds like it's, delightful.
Or is it ale?
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
Dan.
God.
Farkenal Ale. Yeah,
Canal.
Farkenal.
Have we tried that? Have we tried that?
Yeah, I don't know. I might have one here. Let me
got
have
one
a
in the
quick look.
fridge.
I'll
Go
see
on
if
the
there's one here.
That's a nice shot of
Yeah,
Dan's
bum
name.
to the camera.
You are a big boy, Dan. You are a big boy.
There isn't one in here,
That's all right.
but
Best angle.
it's okay.
I thought so.
I
Is
do
there
have
a
one.
reason I've got
There
a
is
ginger
one
beer?
somewhere.
Or
No,
it's
well,
just
no,
because
there
I'm a
is-
whinger?
No, we're talking about a beer. But look, we'll get you a glass in a second.
Yeah.
And have you got the additive for our Kristy?
So there we go. We got a
Yeah,
Coke
I mean,
Zero to
it's
put
not
with
it's
it.
not lemonade.
It's not
but you
lemonade,
can,
but
Look, every now and then I
You
don't mind a shandy.
Oh, good work. Shandy.
good
So
I
my
think
partner used to
everyone
love a
likes
shandy.
a shandy.
Do
It's
they?
so
Yes.
fun. Yeah, hell yeah.
Maybe we'll give one a go tonight after we
mean,
finish this,
it's-
Gordon. We'll go have a shandy.
It's always embarrassing when someone has to ask for it, but generally that's Brad.
Thank you
Sorry,
for taking on
honey.
with the team, Brad. You're doing a good job there once again.
Goddamn.
Just
right.
like looking for those fishing spots. Yes, and the camping spots.
Stop speaking. Stop speaking.
And now we're back on to your lovely husband.
Yes.
How long ago did you guys get married?
We got married in 2008.
2008?
16 years ago.
16 years ago. Nice. And how many kids?
3.
3 kids. And how old are they?
Ruby's 14, Max is 12, and Jacko's 9.
Nice. Good stuff. And where did you go for your honeymoon?
Mexico and then
Mexico.
the States.
And then the States?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. And how was Mexico? Good?
Mexico was amazing.
Yeah, that's good. Good to hear. I've heard Mexico's lovely. What time of the year did you go?
February.
February. Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
I did hear Mexico was great in February.
Single word
What
answers
about-
right here.
What?
We're not
She
the
looks
police.
very
It's okay.
nervous here. She
Where
doesn't
did
know
we-
where we're going
Where
with
did we go next?
this. Yeah, where did you go next?
Graceland.
Gra-
And I don't regret it. And Brad's amazing for saying, oh, whatever, you do what you want to do.
So you're an Elvis tragic, aren't you?
I am an amazing Elvis tragic, and I'm at the moment listening to Lisa Marie Presley's book,
Yep.
which her daughter, Riley Keough, is narrating along with Julia Roberts. Literally, I'm an Elvis tragic.
What's your favourite
work.
song or album? Or...
Favourite song of Elvis is Suspicious Minds.
Oh,
Oh, very good.
Big fan of
choice.
Suspicious Minds. My favourite concert to watch is the 1968 comeback special. It's really good.
You're going much deeper than I thought with this
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah,
on
the
this
black
podcast.
leather.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, guys. Black
It's the
leather.
velvet.
Seriously, I could talk about Elvis for hours and hours. I got into it, right, because I was homesick from school one day, right? And normally Mum would just let us stay at home, lock the doors, don't talk to anyone. And I was probably about 9, but I must have been pretty crook because she dropped me off at Nan's house, which, God rest her soul. Nan, it was a real punish because she wouldn't turn the TV on until the midday movie or Wheel of Fortune. So you
enough.
sit around, having
Like a
to
woman
do
with
not
rules.
much. Anyway, so I'm hanging out for the midday movie.
Good.
And it was an Elvis movie.
Oh, right.
And I was like, who is this guy? And my nan said, that's Elvis Presley. Isn't he dreamy?
He's a good-looking rooster.
Anyway, and so
Handsome
I
fella,
went,
yes.
he is dreamy. Anyway, I've loved him ever since.
Before
His
the
movies
fried
were
Mars bar.
amazing.
yeah.
Only a guy like Elvis can get away with a line like this in a movie. The best colour on you is wet, as he drops the woman in water. Like, honestly,
Don't
Do we have
comment.
to cut that?
Don't comment.
the guy was just a phenomenon.
Cool.
And Graceland was everything I wanted it to be and more.
We're going to leave all of the comments we could do there. So
plan.
I've heard you've got a good set of pipes on you and can sing quite well. Can you belt us out an Elvis tune?
3 cameras and 6
Okay,
microphones.
so someone's clearly lied to you there. Who said
Well,
that one?
It doesn't matter who said it. We have heard that you don't mind belting out a tune here or there.
I
so
don't mind
on.
belting
Can
out
you give us a bit of an Elvis song?
Absolutely
The people
not.
want it.
We had Sam Birrell, little Sam Birrell, the
no.
Nats guy. He actually sung a song on here, so in French as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, great. Good on Sam.
All right.
This is
peer
really
pressure,
disappointing.
Peer pressure hasn't worked.
Didn't
here.
work. I
Some might-
thought the velvet would have inspired.
Some might
Velvet
say
Thunder.
the ginger beer is coming out, but anyway, we'll talk about that another time.
I was going to say maybe as we get a couple of ginger whingers in us, we might have a go. I did belt out Suspicious Minds at a work function when I worked in Canberra.
Oh, good stuff.
And it was very interesting. You could see my five partners of a law firm I worked at all looking at me going, oh, God.
Definitely going into politics.
Definitely going into politics.
She does not have a career in singing.
And so my electorate of the Hunter, right, is around just around 10,500 square kilometres, and I've got a pretty big electorate for a Labor member. You look at Gordon next to us, and you could fit his on a postage stamp pretty much. Compared to how big's yours, Gordon?
Big enough.
I was talking about your
Really did
electorate,
take
but
a
anyway, it
turn.
did take a different turn there.
Where are you going with this, Dan?
You have got an enormous electorate. How big are we talking?
42,000 square kilometres. It's
42,000
roughly the
square
size of Switzerland.
Yep.
and
So
really-
larger than 55 countries in the world.
And for you to travel from one end to the other, how long does it take?
So to go from east to west is about 5 hours, and to go from south to north is about 4 3/4 hours.
Is that like
It's a
yours?
long way.
Is that yours?
No,
what's your
mine's
distance?
only 10,500 square kilometres.
Oh, like, what's the
So-
drive time?
You can
It's
do that
usually
in a
2.5 hours. Yeah, 2.5,
Easy.
3 hours sometimes, depends how
You
it
know
works.
our electorates touch at the top?
They do
At the
touch.
tip?
Yeah, we
you
we
high
just do.
five?
Yes, we do just
near
touch.
Buckety, I believe.
Yeah, very close to Buckety. It's a three-way point there actually between myself, you, and Emma. We all
right.
join there right in the middle.
All three of
It's
us. Yeah,
really-
exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Not
it's
going
not all
where I
about
thought
you.
it was gonna
It's
go.
not all about you.
sorry.
We
People
sometimes
say
go
that a
off on our
lot.
own tangents here.
It's getting late in the day.
But,
it's getting late
and
in
it
the
is
day.
late in the day. This is very late for us to do a podcast. Usually we do them at around 7:30 in the morning, where this time we've done it at 7:30 at night.
Well,
so
we're
much later.
going to have to get some feedback from the viewers about which they prefer.
Yes, I think we
early or
should definitely
late.
do that. So the viewers, make sure you do give us some feedback. Make sure you get back to send us emails, hit the subscribe buttons, and just keep following us.
And look,
the
we
whole way
recognise that there are thousands of you. There
Yeah.
are thousands of you.
through. It is hard. You would
Dan
not
will go through
believe
them all,
how
or
many
Chad
this
will.
goes through. It's on all your good streaming services.
For
Yeah,
everyone's
so-
listening pleasure.
That's exactly right. And sometimes we do get a bit carried away. But back to how big your electorate is, I'm sure you would have gone to a lot of pubs in that time as well and stopped at a lot of pubs, because that's where we know we get the real information from the real punters,
Yep.
is when we stop at a pub, have a meal and have a beer usually, or a shandy occasionally.
Never going to live this
Bit
down.
more than
No, you
occasionally.
won't. You won't live this one down. And I'm
Can't
so
wait for the
glad to
Christmas
find out
party.
about this.
It's coming at you.
But I hear you have some very strong opinions around a Palmer
Yep.
and a Palmy and a Snitchel. Can you talk us through those? What is
Elaborate.
your strong opinions?
My very strong opinion is that why would you go a snitty when you can have a Palmer?
I fully agree with you. High five that one, lady.
But also, a Palmer must have gravy poured all over the top of it.
Oh, see, I differ here. I get the
outrageous.
gravy,
It's
but I
outrageous.
dip. I'm a dipper. Yes, I'm a dipper into the gravy. Yeah, because
Really
then I
changed my
can
view on you.
I can regulate how much gravy goes on there. If I want more or I want less, I can regulate that.
Do you regulate a lot of other things?
Not really. Clearly.
Okay, so come on, you're having gravy. Let's smother this.
I have strong opinions on palmies too.
I've actually asked that question in interviews for staff members before.
Have you really?
Yep, throw it in at the end. So could you tell me Palmer
that have to be
with
cut?
gravy or without gravy?
You're right.
No, I like it.
It's a good culling measure.
It is a very good culling
Absolutely.
measure. And
Gotta do it.
palmy,
Gotta do it.
Palmer. Palmy or Palmer?
Palmer.
Yep.
Palmer, yeah.
All right. Clive Palmer.
Oh, well, oh, come on. Really? You've just ruined it for all of us.
Anyway,
So Palmer.
gone right downhill, folks.
Do you say Palmer or Palmy?
I run with a bit of both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
What
I'm
about
not
you?
Either, depending on how many beers have been consumed.
Like, honestly, like,
At one point, it'll just be
let's
called
stick to our
chicken.
guns. It's a chicken with the stuff on it.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's a deep
maybe
fried
he's not
chook.
maybe he's not a palmy guy or a palmer guy. Maybe you're just a snitchel person, a bit plain.
Do it all.
Good work.
Do it all. Yeah.
Very good.
I'm not pub and preach. I'm not one to judge.
While we're on the subject of with having deep and meaningful to your staff before you employ them through an interview stage, where are you with pineapple on pizza?
Oh, yeah, I'm a hard yes.
Stuff, yes.
Hard yes.
Yeah, I'm a fan of pineapple on pizza.
I actually made homemade pizza the other night and I had to make 2 separate ones because Brad is a hard no to the pineapple on pizza and I'm a hard yes.
Point of contention.
He's a hard no.
Yeah, he's a hard no on that.
Brad, I thought you were better than that. We haven't met yet.
But
I
he's
did think you were better than that.
he also really, interestingly, does not like honey, but really loves honey chicken. Yeah, exactly. How does that work, big fella? Don't know. But I love him.
This is
Honey chicken doesn't taste like honey, though.
No, it does.
It just because it has a more chemical sort of taste, the old honey chicken.
okay.
I don't know where you're getting your honey chicken from.
a great restaurant that will remain nameless.
Keho, love your honey chicken. Delicious.
Yeah, just,
Leho?
honey chicken doesn't do it for me.
No?
gotta tell
My
you.
daughters love honey chicken. And you know what they
Yeah.
love the most? The noodles. I don't think it's a chicken bun.
The
They just love the
crispy
crispy
bit,
noodles.
yeah.
Yeah.
We still got to try the rolls that you make. What are the
Oh, the dim sim rolls.
Yeah, we've got to do
3
that.
dim sims in a roll with salt, pepper and tomato sauce.
Ooh.
It is divine.
Brad does a roll with calamari and tartare sauce,
Well, that'd be all right too.
or
yeah.
a sausage roll in a roll.
Yep. I see that one.
Yeah, I think it must be a tradie thing.
that sounds
Yeah.
It's because we improvise.
Yeah.
Everything, and you know what makes a sandwich better? Doesn't matter what the sandwich is. Putting a potato scallop in there makes every sandwich better.
Every time I've rung that order through to our local cafe for Brad, she says to me, "Is it for Brad?" I'm like, "Yes." Knows his order. It's a sign of a good cafe.
And so, since becoming a minister, what has been the highlight of your role? Because you're the first minister we've had on here, to be honest. We had the PM, and
doesn't
Yeah,
count.
he's the
he
first.
thinks he's special.
He's the first
Yeah,
minister.
yeah. He was the second person we've done.
we all like
Yeah.
him.
We do love you, Elba.
Yeah.
You're a good guy. And doing a great job, may I say.
The highlight for me is going to electorates like yours. Like, you know, I've had the real privilege to travel right across the country, you know, talking to a whole bunch of different businesses, industry groups, local governments, RDAs across the country. But I've seen some amazing things since I've been a
the most
minister.
amazing thing you've seen. Number
I
one.
think one of the best trips I ever did was to a little outback town in South Australia called William Creek. And I
Right.
got picked up at a mining site, flown on a single engine aircraft an hour to William Creek. It's one guy, the pub owner, owns every building in town.
Monopoly.
Yep, literally. I got to staple my card on the roof of the pub. We announced $1 million for a RFDS clinic,
Oh, fantastic.
which was super cool. And then I got flown out over Lake Eyre to another mining site and flown back to South Australia, to Adelaide. So it was just super cool. Like, without a job like this, you'd never get to experience that.
That's right.
You know, I sat in the pub and had a chat to Rose, his bartender. Rose was probably about 5'0", and
Tall
she
Sandbureau.
she ran the show like no tomorrow. Got chatting to a couple of guys, you know, at a pub, as you do. And they
happens.
said to me, "Oh, so what do you do?" And I thought,
Interesting conversation.
"G'day, goes." And I said, "Oh, well, so I'm a federal government minister. So I work with the Prime Minister." And they looked at me and both went, "Yeah, right." And I sat there in silence for about 2 minutes. And they said, "So seriously?"
My favourite's always the follow-up question of,
So which side?
Yeah, so that was pretty funny. That was a good trip. Like, you know, going to places that, you know, I probably wouldn't get an opportunity to go to if not for this role is pretty amazing.
Did you enjoy the playground on the Central Coast?
Oh, absolutely.
I burned my hands on that pole.
Yeah, he did. Doesn't know how to go down a fireman pole.
That's-
Sorry, what did you say? Doesn't go down a fireman's pole?
Yeah, that's right.
Did you not grow up as a kid?
Huh? I was
What did you
studying.
do as a-
What were you doing?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, clearly.
I was
You- yeah.
studying.
I left school at 15. You didn't.
And the poor guy then had to go after, you know, burning his hand on a steel pole to the emergency department to
Thank God for gloves.
work.
Thank God for gloves. Thank God for gloves.
Next time I see your mum and dad, I'm going to have a just serious conversation about maybe less time schooling and more time working and how to slide down a fireman's pole.
There's a video of that.
There
I slid
is
down
a
it.
video of
There's
that.
just a bit of friction burn on the old.
Got to be loose.
Yeah, it was too tight. Like, I
Yeah.
strangled it.
He did.
Strangled it. It wasn't good.
No comments.
I'm talking about a playground, but it was a good day. It was a
I
good
was
day.
doing
like-
his face.
What's
Go on.
the strangest thing you've done since becoming minister?
Have you got
Besides
Have you
seeing
gone down
him
a
burn
fireman's
his
pole?
hands.
I have gone down a fireman's pole and then may have made Gordon
That's actually
do
got
the
that
same
trophy.
thing. I don't think I've done anything strange. Like,
Oddest? There's got to be something odd that you've just gone,
why am I doing
Jesus.
this? Not really. I got to go to a beer canning factory. It was
that's
good
good.
fun and drink some beer straight off the production line.
Nothing better than brewery fresh.
Oh, like super fresh, and
Yeah.
it did taste absolutely different. I don't think there's anything odd that I've done that's kind of sticks out in my mind as like, oh, that was weird.
Yep.
I've done lots of fun stuff. I've been swimming off Cocos Island, as part of my territories role. I've been in Norfolk Island, Christmas Island, went to the detention centre at Christmas Island. That was interesting.
That would have been interesting, yeah.
Super different.
But is the island big? Not that I want to dwell on this topic.
Christmas
but-
Island is like a pretty substantial size, and it's volcanic, so it's quite built up. Whereas Cocos Island is literally a coral atoll. They're actually closer to Indonesia than they are to Australia. I've done some really cool things in different parts of the country. I try to make sure that we put something fun in the agenda. Lots of local councils I go to, I'll challenge the mayor if we've got like a
Good stuff.
basketball court
Yeah,
or
nice.
netball. I'm
Handball.
Like, yep, I've made Bill Shorten play handball with me in Queanbeyan.
Did you ask Bill Short to eat a sausage with you when he eats it
hard
from the
no.
middle?
Hard no.
How can you eat a sausage from the middle? I'm still horrified on you about that, Bill. We'll talk about that at your valedictory speech.
No, I got to eat a burger over a bonnet with you, Dan.
You did, yes. Yeah. That's a little bit different, yes. For burgers by HMC, it's you got a dry aged cheeseburger, a double with bacon, because you listened to my advice.
Yeah.
But you got chips as well, which I was
also got
very
chips.
surprised you got the chips.
Yeah, and
because
could
the
not
double's
eat
enough
them.
to do you, yes.
Could not eat that.
Yeah, but
Tried.
ate it
Did you
over the
finish it?
bonnet of the car. It was lovely.
Bit disappointing, Minister.
I reckon I got maybe a half of the way through that and a quarter of the way through the. I was like, I've really
the rest?
overestimated myself.
No, I ate mine, and then
You are a temper.
I had about one of her chips, and that was it. Yes,
right,
yeah.
right.
So, but your staff had a good crack at it too.
Yeah,
And you've
absolutely.
got some fun staffers, may I
Yeah.
say. You do have a great team about you, and we're only as good as our teams, really.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Shout out to
100%.
my team and Gordon's team that helped put this together, and because this magic, as much as you think it's magic, viewers, doesn't all happen on its own.
Absolutely, and so much of the job can be quite serious. So it's really good to have a team that you can unwind with, have a laugh at each other, at each other's expense
we have that.
frequently.
We have that, Daniel.
Yes.
I did walk in just before and see my staffer had written some stuff on the board about me, and I was like, what is this about? Now I know.
Oh!
Coming for you. My staff are great.
And this is why we do this podcast, to be perfectly honest, to just showcase another side of politics, because it's not all about being serious 100% of the time. We do some big, important stuff here as well, but we're also normal people too. And this is why we try and do this, to showcase that. And having people like yourself on here really helps us with that too, because
really
you're
funny.
relatively new too.
The best compliment I've ever received is when people say to me, you seem so normal.
Yeah.
I'm like, thanks.
Best feedback you can ever
Best
get.
feedback
Best
ever.
feedback.
I'm glad you two get that, because I usually don't get that I'm normal.
That's because you're a giant.
a different size.
Yeah.
Giant.
We are normal-sized humans over
Yes, that's
here.
right. That's right.
Big as beautiful people, don't let them height shame you like they're trying to do here.
He's got his own group to talk about this.
Yeah.
Yep. Hopefully have another normal sized individual here soon.
I'm
Yeah.
Over
really
the 6 foot club.
keen to make sure that the candidate for Leichhardt gets over the line.
That's it. Well, he's about this much bigger than me, the candidate for
taller than
Leichhardt.
you?
Yeah.
He's massive, big unit.
It's Matt,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, Matt. Yeah.
Matt,
Yeah.
we're backing you because we want you here to beat Dan on the basketball court. And actually,
Well, he's a good basketball player. Actually played for
Yeah.
Cairns Taipans and
We
I
need you
think
to
Illawarra
dunk
Hawks
over
as well.
Ed.
Yeah. So
Dunk
handy.
over Ed.
And
Can Ed dunk?
Ed, no, definitely not. Ed, right? I love you, Ed. You're a great guy, but he gets a bit emotional on the basketball court. He does tear up occasionally, and he gets a bit pushy.
Oh, does
but,
he?
I weigh more than him.
Builds a bit of a temper, does he?
Yes.
Poor Ed. He'll be fine.
And then you got elbows. Claire Armstrong.
Claire O'Neill.
Oh, sorry, not Claire Armstrong. Elbows Claire O'Neill. Jesus, Claire O'Neill.
You were saying elbows.
She
I
comes
didn't
out
know
like
elbow
this.
basketball.
No, she comes out with her elbows.
Literally.
Oh, really?
And you got Pat Conroy that thinks he's a basketball player, but he's a pretty good rugby player compared to basketball.
What about what's the tall bloke from Victoria, the vegetarian or vegan?
Joshy.
Joshy Burns is a
He's good
very
basketball
handy basketball player.
Yeah.
And so's Tim. Tim Watts is a handy basketball player too.
Yeah.
Yep. So you get Sam Ray in there as well. Sam Ray.
He's a little nugget, though, isn't he?
Sam
Yeah.
Ray annoyingly comes after having run like 5Ks. Oh,
Yeah, that's right.
hey,
yes.
I'll just join in basketball now. No, buddy.
He had some wild stories, didn't he?
His was entertaining, and his is about to come out. So yeah, it's. But we've had some interesting people on here so far. See, I thought Sam Birrell's one was quite good too, and
that was great.
And the other short little bloke from the opposition side, we will go with
Aaron.
Aaron Aaron.
Aaron.
Yes,
Aaron isn't that short.
Yeah, well, he's
Well,
short
everyone's
enough.
short
like,
to you. I
yeah.
Yeah.
No, Ron's was very, very entertaining too because
Yeah.
he had a lot to say around those fires in 2020 as well. So, yeah, it was interesting. We've had some really cool people on here. Yeah, even you, Elbow, you were cool. Don't know about the fish though, but you were cool.
That's exactly right.
So you know how Top Gear used to like get their guests to do a hot lap, and then you rank the guests according to their time on the hot lap. Remember
Yep.
this, Top Gear?
Yeah. Are we?
Yeah, the stick.
How are we going to?
Do we need to put a helmet
like
on
that.
and say with the stick?
No, you need to rank your guests.
Rank our guests.
Like, where's the whiteboard
Oh, I
to
like that idea.
be like, okay, you've really.
And it could swap
right.
through it as a guest is better.
You were funnier than this person. You're up here.
What's the ranking
by
criteria?
views.
Or go by
Views?
Yeah, this
views.
is-
Ooh.
Yeah,
It's really something
Now
to
it's a
think
party.
about,
Now
guys.
it's a party.
it is. Yes, yeah.
Party. Like and subscribe.
Well, so far, we both want our jobs back. So, Elbow, you're number one. And then followed very closly by our First Minister. So you're number two, because who knows where you'll be in the next term. You'll be much higher, I'm sure. So,
Throw some more sauce on it, Dan. Jeez. God damn it.
you got to work with what you got to work with here.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
And
Absolutely
but
right.
no, all serious, right? Jokes aside, you are a fantastic minister. What you do, local government is just so well suited to you for being
laughing,
minister
being
of local
serious.
government because you seriously are so well suited to that.
Yeah, like I really love it. Like, you know, local councils do so much in our community. And you guys know, you probably get a bunch of council inquiries. They come into your door.
90%.
And lots of people think that because you're a federal member, that we can tell the other levels what they can and can't do.
Negative
Should
on
work
that.
like that. But yeah, no, I really love the job. It's really great. You know, there are 546 local councils around the country, as well as our external territories. I've met with over 250 of them in 2 years.
Good work.
And yeah, it's great. You get to talk to people from all walks of life about what matters in their community, and I think that's really cool.
Fantastic.
Is it time?
And it's time, big boy.
You start.
So-
I'll let you start.
So Gordon and he's throwing me under the bus here, telling me to start, right?
No, I haven't.
He just wants to say at the end of it, will you have a bottle of wine in a coal mine? That's all he wants to say, and that's usually what he
not
comes
what I was
back
going to
with.
say. Her parents
But
were
what
coal
I-
miners.
what I'm gonna come with
I
is-
wouldn't disrespect the minister.
So we have a competition to see whose area is the best.
Okay.
And we have obviously large, fantastic coal mines in our area that produce thousands and thousands of tonnes of coal that go out of our port every year.
You're working on
and
this.
keep the world powered, so we have our lights on. We also have some of the best fine dining restaurants in the whole of New South Wales. We have some of the best wines in the world, and we definitely have that. And you know what else we have? We have just the biggest saltwater lake in the Southern Hemisphere. We have so much to offer in the Hunter, and so it's a little competition that we have as to who has the best area. Where would you rather go have a nice wine at and spend a bit of time? Would it rather be in the Hunter, or would you rather go to where culture goes to die, like the Central Coast, that has no good restaurants, that has no good wineries, that has a beach that's okay, but not as good as some of the other beaches further up around Newcastle and Shortland area, and then up into Port Stephens? Or would you prefer to just come to the Hunter and just relax in some of the best restaurants and pubs in New South Wales, having some of our world famous wine?
I'll set the scene for you, Kristy. It's bloody beautiful is what it is. So it's Saturday, it's sort of that 29, 30 degrees, bit of a breeze blowing. You know, you're looking out, beautiful coastline, as Daniel said. And,
It's a coastline.
And you come up, let me roll, let me go. Anyway, so yeah, 30 degrees or so, wind blowing. The sun's just starting to set and it's going through the clouds. It's nice and red and everything. We've got this nice little restaurant, like white sort of wooden shack-looking restaurant. Margarita Days, beautiful, beautiful pizzas, homemade pizzas. You're sitting there, you're having a cold drink, looking out at the ocean to an island, Lion Island, which actually has a colony of fairy penguins on it, which is very exciting.
Does it go rah?
Which is very exciting. And I'm trying not to use the coal mine comment. So look, you have your beverage there, and then you know what? I'll take you for dinner at the Golden Lotus, which is a Chinese restaurant in East Gossard around the corner, opposite the Ellie. Beautiful pub.
How's that honey chicken, may I ask?
But look, expansive coastline, one of the biggest national parks in New South Wales. And look, at the end of the day, you will be drinking a bottle of wine in a coal mine if you go and see Dan. So you have to pick.
I've got to pick
Is it the
between-
Central
You got to pick
Coast
between the Central Coast
or
the
is it the
beautiful
Hunter, who can't even say Hunter properly? Hunter.
Hunter.
With a H.
Hunter. It's the Hunter.
Well, just so you know, in Eden-Monaro, it's the only place in the country where you can have your feet in the ocean of a morning and be at the highest peak of the country by the afternoon.
This isn't the question.
Yeah.
Not only do I have an
I see you're
amazing
avoiding the
beach
question here.
This isn't question.
and an amazing winery area and great restaurants, you could do everything that you would do in either of your electorates in mine.
I feel you're avoiding the offensive.
And so
here.
what I would
she's
like to
definitely
say
yeah.
is you can come to Eden-Monaro and visit me.
This is not the way it works. We'd definitely like to do that.
Yeah, we will-
Because I'd
we
like
will
to
be
meet
doing
Brad.
that.
and,
I will show you a
I
good
talked
time.
about the pineapple on the pizza.
Do you both
but-
like oysters?
I love
All
them.
right, Marumbular oysters.
Yep.
Good to go. Look, I would have to say I'd be going to Robertson.
Wow.
Christ.
Boom.
And your dad was a coal miner. Worked in the coal industry. Just
I love the Hunter. I love the Hunter.
it's okay.
But he did.
Coast. Okay.
He got me with Margarita Days.
You can have margaritas with us.
My favourite drink.
You
But you didn't say that.
You can
said
even have a
wine.
Winger ginger beer.
Well, now I'm going to have to because that's what you're going to call me forever now, isn't it? Winger. Thanks for that.
Hey!
Well, now we're having a beer. Let's crack one.
Gentrifying, baby.
So it's 8 o'clock, guys. Cheers. It's 8:30. We're having a beer. It's finished for the day. And thank you for listening to this. And thank you for coming on, Kristy. We really appreciate it. Keep up the great work. And as we said, you're smashing it. We'll finish on one final note, though. Coffee or no coffee?
Oh, I don't drink coffee.
No, I'm with you. No coffee.
What do you drink?
No tea, no coffee.
That's it.
I had a
She's
hot
normal.
chocolate. I had a hot
She's
chocolate
normal.
today.
Hot chocolate.
Oh,
yeah.
chocolate
Okay, that was good.
I don't mind a chai. Well,
Cinnamon doesn't do it. Tigers love
kinda
peppermint.
had-
Chai latte.
Yeah, well, I kind of had to find something fancy because when I was the mayor, I was the youngest in the room, and it always looked a bit odd when the youngest person in the room was saying, "Oh, can I have a hot chocolate?" And also, don't bring it unless it's got marshmallows. People who drink hot chocolate without marshmallows come from another planet.
And on that note, it's been a great time. Thank you, Assistant. Thank you,
Whoa.
Minister Kristy
Minister.
McBain.
Voting me?
Minister.
I'm going to the
Minister
Hunter.
Bay. Yay!
Woo!
And we didn't even make one Simpsons reference with McBain.
Thanks, Kristy. Catch ya.
Thank you.